Hey guys, what's up? So, coming back with some quality content after a long hiatus of just me being honestly just too lazy to edit videos and just being too tired because I'm working out and doing other stuff like way too much. But we came back big with a collab, my very first collab with another YouTuber, TricksterKev, and he's from New York. And I'm really glad that he hit me up to hit when he was taking a vacation in LA. So this is his channel. It's TricksterKev. His name is Kevin, and he started his YouTube channel somewhat recently. And he actually already knew him when he contacted me because he was in my algorithm. And he actually posts a lot of good match play. It's a good level match play. It's not just, like super casual. I mean, casual match play is good too, but he played at a pretty high level. And his matches are pretty solid to watch. So, I mean, I already knew his channel, so when he hit me up, it was good. And I honestly watched a couple more of his matches just so I could see how he played. So I had to scout, But yeah, I'm going to react to his video of me playing against him. He came out, got me off my butt, and we decided to play a match at my home courts where I teach. And I'm going to do a reaction to his video. Oh my gosh. All right, there we go. So I want to talk about my mindset going into this match first. So both of us were kind of battling a couple factors. For him, flying in from New York, new environment. I think in New York they're mostly indoor tennis right now because of the weather. So he had to play outdoors against me on my home court. And that couldn't have been easy. We had never met before. We'd only exchanged messages and stuff. So new person, new environment. And for me, I had twisted my ankle really, really bad the week before. And I couldn't even walk for the first 2 days. And I did crazy rehab to get it back so I could play this match. And it felt fine during the game, which was really good. And I was really glad because he was flying down from New York. I didn't want to have to cancel on him. The main thing was not the injury or the rust because I didn't get to do much that week. The main thing was I was just thinking, this is my first time playing for someone else's channel. I was so nervous. It was a different pressure and vibe than, growing up playing tournaments, playing college tennis and all that stuff. This is kind of I feel kind of exposed, you know what I mean? So my mindset coming into this match was after watching his matches, doing some scouting, looking at his UTR and stuff, my mindset coming into this match was, all right, I'm going to play it really, really safe and grind to see how I feel. And I was hoping that he would come out, be really aggressive and overhit and try to slap winners past me, because just on paper my former UTR was quite a bit higher. And especially my students will come out and with similar UTRs, they'll just come out and try to hit through me because they, in their mind, the shot quality just has to be so much higher and they have to go for more. But he didn't do this, and I found myself grinding so hard because he was grinding too, and he was actually going for smarter shot selections, and he was patient enough to where I felt I shouldn't go for any more, just because I really didn't know how my shots were gonna feel that day. I was actually shaking from nervousness. The first game I whiffed a ball completely and it was weird. I was trying my best just to do very fundamental things, move big margins, top spin, but I don't know why it was so mental. I couldn't hit through short balls, and I was really more just moving him around, just trying to move him around and get him tired, get high heavy to his backhand. I think his strategy of being a little bit more safe surprised me, because I thought he would try to hit through me, as I said before. But we both played cat and mouse for a very, very long time. I think the whole set, actually. And he was definitely more aggressive throughout the entire thing. I was just playing defense and trying to neutralize, because I just really didn't know how my strokes were going to feel, and I was a little too mental. I was too in my own head to try something else. You know, I just felt a lot of pressure here. I think he was very nervous too, though. Both of us exchanging a lot of slices a lot. The one thing that he did well was whenever I pressured him on his backhand, I think he realized that I wasn't going to capitalize on the ball too much when he hit his short slice off his backhand every time I hit heavy to his backhand. So he just kept it going and didn't overhit that shot. I think I should have, well, during the match, in my head, I actually did read the short ball. And so one thing was, like, I would hit heavy to his backhand, and in my mind, I would be like, get your butt to the net. But I couldn't, like, I just wouldn't do it, because I was in, like, such a safe, like, I was just in such a safe mentality. I just wanted to, like, not lose points on giving free unforced errors and stuff. So I didn't really trust my shots at all, which kind of worked against me, but I have to give myself a little bit leeway. But props to him for showing me that he wasn't going to give me that many free points either. And it turned into a grind of epic proportions. Like, I'm glad he didn't show in between every point. From the second game on, I was like hunched over, gasping for breath, just praying that he would miss a little bit sooner. One thing that was really interesting, that it really shows at every level of tennis, it's so mental, because I felt very uncomfortable going to the net, just based on this whole environment and situation, in which usually my net game is a huge part of my game, and I love coming to the net because I don't hit winners from the baseline that well. I tend to really construct the point, different spins, depths, angles, and heights, and making the other person very uncomfortable. And when I get a good shot, then I'll come in and I'll finish. And I'm usually very comfortable at the net, playing like a lot of doubles. Was like really highly ranked in doubles. But then again, I haven't practiced volleys or hit volleys in the longest time, just because as a coach I mostly feed and hit, don't really come in much, and I guide shots a lot against my students. But that's not really too much of an excuse. I think more of what it was the first time I came to the net, he kind of had this like flick that I couldn't really tell where it was going. So after the first two times, it didn't go that well. The first couple balls that came off my racket for volleys, I was like, oh my gosh, I have no idea like how this is supposed to feel. And from there, I couldn't really read his passing shots that well. So it was not a good situation for me to come in on all the time, because he actually took shots pretty early, and that made my split timing really late when I was coming in. So playing a lefty, the thing I was worried about most was returns and my second serve, because on a second serve against a lefty, you can't just hit kick serves to his forehand like every single shot. I mean, usually against a high level player, you can't just hit the same second serve every shot, but just like thinking I'm playing a lefty, and I I need to do something different, and second serves are not something that you practice as a coach. You know. And returning, I was pretty nervous just because returning against a lefty is never easy. What he did well was he actually mixed up his serve very well. A lot of lefties fall into this pattern of just serving every single ball to a righty's backhand, and I don't mind that because my backhand return is actually my better return, but he didn't do that. Like, even during warm-up, he showed me that he could hit the out wide first serve from the deuce side, and I was like, oh my god, he's gonna mix up his serves. So like, I was already in a really safe mindset, so I actually returned it holding a slice grip, like starting my return position with a slice grip, and I just sliced every ball back. And luckily he didn't serve and volley too much. I thought he didn't have to serve and volley like every point, but I thought if he did utilize the serve and volley, or like even just come in after his serve and wait for a shot, then I would have had to think a little bit more. But he let me get back into the point. I don't mind people trying to hit big from the baseline against me after I've hit the ball back and I've settled. Even if they hit big, I'm pretty confident in my movement. But if he had served and volleyed a little more just to show me I couldn't chip my return back every time, then I would have had to think about not just waiting in my slice serve grip, and I would have probably missed a couple more returns. Now his positioning was pretty close to the baseline because I think he plays indoors, and especially this season, being winter in New York, he's probably been playing indoors a lot more, and he was pretty close to the baseline for when he was for most of the set, actually, at least compared to me, because I was trying to grind. I was in a grind mindset. Where I got pretty lucky was that after changeovers, he would come out ahead in almost every game. Like, he was up 30-love in many of the games. You can kind of see by the scoreline up above, and then I would just start playing better after 2 points, or I would be more consistent. And I think when he was up 30-love also, he would give me a couple, he would relax a little and give me a couple points, and that kind of changed the flow of every game from like, oh, I'm winning this game easily, to like, oh my gosh, I should have won this game. So I got a little bit lucky. I definitely don't like being in that situation where I have to fight back every single game. But see, like that last shot right there, like this last volley, it was just me not being confident. Like, I can just hit that straight down, but I went for a touch shot instead. And then he missed, like like that score line would have been very different if he had made that shot. He missed like a pretty easy ball there. Like, those are the shots I usually like to finish off of. I don't like blasting the ball down the middle. Like, even, I like to say in tennis, even until like, if you're like a 10-5 UTR or higher, or like up till a 10 UTR, you're consistent and you can hit a decent rally ball and move, like you'll get really high. You don't have to be hitting spectacular shots, because like even till then, tennis is just such a percentage game. You know, like nobody at 10, 9 UTR is hitting winners consistently. And I got to like 12.8 or 12.5. I would say 12.8 is a stretch, because that, like, I think my UTR went to that point after I stopped playing. It's because somebody I beat got like really high. But yeah, like even like 12.4, 12.5 when I got there. My net game and my attacking game was obviously better than this right now, but it wasn't like I wasn't blasting through people, you know. And I would say the biggest difference is also the serve. I'm just spinning most of my serves in. just because, you know, like, things don't stay if you don't practice. But I don't think I played solid. Like, I made a lot of shots, and I'm pretty happy with the fact that the unforced error count wasn't high, because that's what I was nervous about. I hate making unforced errors, and that's something that's actually held me back a little bit, because then I won't go for shots I need to sometimes. Like, depending on my condition, if I don't feel like I feel good, then it's automatically gonna be a grind, and I'm just gonna be tired the whole time. Oh, I got away with that. That was a good serve. That's a nice backhand. I like Kevin's strokes. They look nice. That was a good shot. So with Kevin, I think, you know, like, fundamentally he has nice strokes, and he's got his shot selection. He didn't overhit too much against me. I don't know how he plays a lot of the time, like, against his friends, like, normally and stuff, but there were just like a couple of key points that I won, right, that swung the match. But overall, you know, I think if he just try to hit his backhand a little heavier, but he plays mostly indoor tennis, so it's, you know, it's hard to say, because indoors you're gonna hit through the ball a lot more, because you get rewarded way more when the ball is indoors, when you're hitting through it. And luckily for me, my backhand was pretty solid. I was more worried about my forehand, and yeah, he told me he was targeting it, which made sense. This ball, no, go back. This ball right here, you guys have no idea how nervous I was. Not this one, I think it's the one after. Thank God he missed that one. But this one, it went exactly as I planned, but I was so nervous on that forehand. Like, you know, when you plan something in your head on a tight point and you actually execute the first two steps, and then you realize you have that open court that you wanted, it's like, all right, I better make this, you know, because I've seen so many people miss a shot, especially on a point that's, especially on like deuce at, you know, 5-3. Like, if he breaks me, then he's on serve again. And I definitely wasn't like confident enough to be like, okay, whatever, I'm gonna break him again later. So yeah, I'm glad I made that shot. And so, like, takeaways from this match, I feel like it came down to a couple points. You know, I tried not to think too much about I try to think not too much about like UTR and rating and stuff, because, you know, it just comes down to the match that you're playing that day. It doesn't really matter what your record is. You know, you can decide to play different on any given day, and in one set, if you start off badly, if you start off well, it can really make a difference. And tennis is just so mental that sometimes if you're not careful, suddenly you're down a break. Like the first game, I came out and I was like, oh shoot, all he has to do is hold serve for the rest of the set, and luckily I somehow brought it back. And he made a couple of mistakes being up 30 love the next game that I was very luckily, yeah, let's see the score line here. I missed that shot. Yeah, he was up 30 love or something like that on his own serve. And then I won like 3 points or 2 or 3 points after that volley he should have made. Would have been up 40-15 instead of me going up 40-30. Like, matches can swing so fast, I know it's about percentages, but sometimes, you know, even if you feel like you have a 70% chance to win, they win that 130% in a critical moment, then you can still, the set can still go the other way. So that's what I'm worried about. I'm always overthinking that. Like, you don't want to think that deeply when you're a tennis player. You really don't. You just want to play your shots. I've always struggled with overthinking, so especially when in an environment where I haven't got the reps in, like, I know I can play a certain way. I'm confident. The things I am confident in are my movement, shot tolerance, strategy. Things I'm not confident in are my shot quality, like shanking a lot of balls when I don't feel like I've practiced enough, attacking when I don't feel like I've got the reps for hitting like flatter and going through the ball. And during tight points, sometimes I go for too much margin, and a better player will just take me out because I didn't go for a high enough quality shot. So those are things that, you know, I have to continue to kind of think about and work on, as even though I don't play competitively anymore and I just coach. But it was nice to get that adrenaline rush back playing Kevin. I'm really glad that he texted me to play, and he turned out to be a very nice guy. I'm really glad that made a new friend. His line calls were more than fair. I think he gave me a line call on a pretty critical point too. So yeah, got pretty lucky there. And then it wasn't this one that was in for sure. But it was a nice collab, and hopefully we get to play again in the future. And hopefully I edit more videos and actually post, because I do have videos, I just don't edit them because I'm too tired from doing my 3 other sports and working out. So thank you, Kevin, for kind of getting me back into the YouTube mindset, and thanks for doing all the work to reaching out and setting things up and making the time to come out and hit with me. But don't forget to follow his channel too, and I hope you really enjoyed this reaction. Kicking off the New Year's with a collab is pretty cool. So have a good one, and peace out, guys.